What's going on, everyone? Let's talk about how 10 way Gen Zs are reshaping the American workforce. Now, how are they reshaping it? As a business consultant, I get to watch it on the front line and see people at different business and how it's being reshaped. Now,
okay, if people are asking what are some of the key characteristics I need to know about Gen Z, especially in the workplace, as a leader, et cetera, what do you think they need to know?
I think that what they need to know is, if I was just to summarize it really quick, is that they're driven by values, that they want to have purpose in work, that they want work-life balance, that they can be the best.
At the end of the day, Gen Z, like it or not, they are coming into the workforce and we need them to join because baby boomers and Gen X are going to be retiring.
There's 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day in the United States. Tons and tons and tons of them own small businesses. And there's just not enough people out there.
So either way, like it or not, they're going to have to come into workplace and you're going to have to figure out what is going to be the best for your workplace. So 10 ways Gen Z is reshaping the American workforce. And like, subscribe to my video. And if you like more of these, comment down below. If not, it's okay. Now, if you think a steady paycheck is enough to keep Gen Zs happy, you might think wrong.
A massive cultural shift is underway, led by younger generations who are redefining success. Deloitte's 2025 Global Gen Z and Millennial Survey found that for these generations, a successful career is a trifecta of money, meaning, and well-being. In fact, a sense of purpose is critical to their well-being at work for a vast majority, around 90% of both Gen Z and millennials.
So I had Gen Zs work for me and the struggle of trying to figure them out. Millennials, you give them enough money, they stay around no matter if it's good or bad. But Gen Zs, they're different. They don't care about their paycheck. They want different things. And the first thing that they want is flexibility is the new standard. They want to be able to go away from the 9 to 5, the cubicle feeling. And
They fight for flexibility in the workplace.
Yeah.
But I know some people see this as a negative, but the truth is it comes from a really good place. Is that they're like, these are people with actual needs. Look at them. Look at the person and recognize that they have children, that we have days in which we think better in our alone space. And so they're fighting for that hybrid workplace, and we all are.
Yeah.
But they're really like, it's a part of their values now.
live a more flexible lifestyle. They want flexible hours and the ability to work from anywhere. This is answering emails while online in Disney World. This flexible strategy is so that they can travel, they can do whatever they want, still answer emails and do their work. And I see this as a very important thing for you to learn. That not all company does this, but I start to see more and more companies have flexible hours and they start giving the flexibility to the employees. So this is a good thing, but at the end of the day, Gen Z's number one thing they've been looking for is flexibility. Number two is having tech skills are a baseline.
Never tell Gen Z that we're not going to do that because it's how it's always been done. When they show up at work, they have a lot of freaking ideas. They come in, they've been exposed to technology, they've been watching YouTube videos ever since they were a kid. And by the way, because Gen Z was the first generation to have ubiquitous internet, meaning there's like one of these things with instantly available magic internet data that can come into your knowledge, like the entire knowledge of the world is at your fingertips. That is a weird thing that most of us who are older, whether we're baby boomers or Gen X, or even a lot of millennials, we didn't grow up that way.
Gen Z grew up troubleshooting apps before learning how to write an essay. Technology isn't a perk for them. It's a basic expectation to adopt as a new, quick, often companies to keep pace. So some people think some things are outdated. And this is where they use Gen Z to increase the baseline. Maybe they help them create an app. Maybe they help them do all these other things. But at the end of the day, the tech skills is the new baseline for most employers. Just like how millennials had to know Microsoft, Excel, and other items like that for office work. So make sure you understand that the new level of technology cause Gen Z to have a base skills for a little bit higher. Now, the next thing is diversity and inclusion is a non-negotiability.
Oh, yeah. The other part that you just triggered for me is that they're the most ethnically diverse cohort in the United States also. So almost 50% of them are mixed race. And so that's something that you just have to be sensitive to and understand that it's an issue for them.
This generation expects the company to hire and promote individuals from diverse backgrounds and make those commitment transparent. They want people to understand that they want to work in a diverse environment, and that's okay. Having a diverse environment helps with company growth. It gives you different opinion all the way around the room. And this is what helps a lot of people, a lot of companies to understand that having diversity is a must. And it helps with ideas in the room, helps explore different things. Because if you have too many people thinking the same way, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to really problem solve. So you need a diversity. The next thing that Gen Z looks for, and this is a big one that I've seen, is purpose over paycheck.
PBS did an article on Gen Z, and the fascinating thing was the number one desire for Gen Z was having a purpose, which is interesting. And that was over the number two desire for Gen Z was having their basic needs met. So that means our generation has a deeper desire for having purpose-driven work or feeling like they have a purpose than making money.
While financial is in consideration, Gen Z's prioritize what the career means. The wants of the roles, the feel of connection with something bigger. They don't want something to 9-to-5 grind. They want to feel important. They want to feel like they're doing something in life. And I had to learn this the hard way because having a Gen Z show up to work and giving them a purpose is the only way to keep them around. Besides that, they kind of jump really quick. They don't come to work. You have a bunch of issues. So this is some of the things I learned about Gen Z is they really want a job that gives them fulfillment and not just a check. And the next thing I learned is feedback is a two-way street. So annual reviews aren't enough for this group. Gen Z is ongoing conversation with the manager rather than waiting a month for feedback. They want the idea openly and they consider. They're very open-minded. And they will tell you what's on their mind. And you have to take this as a grain of sand because they're going to want to talk to you and then they're going to want feedback right away. And it's a conversation that they want to have. It's not just you tell them what to do, how they're doing. They're going to tell you how you've been doing too. So be ready for that. I've seen it in some of these consultants things that whenever they talk to a Gen Z, how they talk to each other and talk to management. They have conversations. Now, the next thing I see a lot of Gen Z have, mental health comes first. Gen Zs
are very educated about mental health and well-being. They're coming into the workplace. They're in their kind of early 20s and they are saying, I have the expectation.
Take their mental health above everything else. They don't care about overtime pay. And they loudly often will tell this to a company. They worry about their mental health day. They want to make sure that they can handle it and not worry about it. At the end of the day, mental health is very important to them, and they're not going to move on this. I've seen people that seen Gen Zs quit jobs because they didn't have a mental health day there. And this is something you need to understand. Gen Z is going to be changing the job market, and more companies gonna have to adhere to them. Because you're not going to have a workforce. Without a workforce, you're not going to make money. The next thing is social responsibility matters. Now, Gen Z want their employees to take a stand. They research the value of the company, and way some people research in a spot is find a rare animal on the safari. So what does that mean? They're going to be researching the companies that they're going to go work for. And they're going to want to make sure that they don't cut corners or ignore social impact and expect them to speak up, or they're going to walk away. That's just the end of the day. They want to feel like they're working for a company that they can trust and move forward with. Next thing, work-life balance is not a negotiability. Gen Z is not going to deal with the burnout. Burnout is a deal breaker for them. They value time, hobbies, side projects, and personal goals. If your job doesn't match that, they're going to quit. At the end of the day, work-life balance is not negotiable for Gen Z. And this is seen across the board. And I am going to tell you, this is something you're going to have to look out for, because they're not going to be wanting to work that overtime you want them. They want to keep their personal life going and don't want to make any exception. Next is continually learning is a must. Gen Z wants to always be learning something new. Continue with the education, good or bad. This is something you need to understand. Continuously learning is a must. They want companies to offer workshop, certification, training are far more appealing than a stagnated job. I am going to tell you this. This is for some millennials are like this too. They want to be sent to training. They want to be sent to get certification. They want this paperwork because this makes them more marketable. They don't want to stay at a job that doesn't offer them anything. So make sure you add those values to your companies. Authentic over corporate speak. They expect authentic, genuine communication, honest leadership, and culture that align with their values. If their company doesn't align with it, they'll end up leaving. So they want authentic companies. If it don't line up with them, they're going to leave. So don't make fake promises. They're faster to leave a job than any other generation. They don't care. Some of them even will quit their job and go live with their parents because they want to understand that they are doing this for themselves and not for you, because at the end of the day, they don't want to be a corporate slave. And that's all I got for you today. Like, subscribe to my video, and